Singapore has an incredibly robust economy that attracts thousands of people from all over the world. This small island is so successful that it's basically become the New York of Asia. While it may be the destination for basically everyone looking for greener pastures, it's not immediately clear to the untrained eye what exactly makes Singapore so attractive. Stick with us to find out just what makes this country so incredibly wealthy. Before we get into it, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos in the future. As one of the main financial hubs in the Asia-Pacific region, the country of Singapore has an established reputation for being one of the most advanced economies in the world. Despite its small population, lack of natural resources, and several other constraining factors, Singapore has continued to grow stronger and stronger over the years. Even when the infamous financial crisis of 1997 and 2008 hit, Singapore was one of the few economies that recovered almost immediately. Despite the country's humble beginnings, the citizens have managed to build a system that was ranked as the second most open economy in the world. As of today, the Singapore economy is one of the most stable on the planet, with insanely high government revenue, no foreign debt, and a consistently positive trading surplus annually. This juggernaut performance is mainly powered by their exports in the manufacturing of electronics and machinery, tourism, and financial services. As if that's not enough, they have also built what has become the world's busiest cargo seaport. It is the focal point for over 200 shipping lines, and it connects more than 600 ports all around the world. At least 140,000 vessels dock at Singapore ports annually, making the country a centre for all things exports. To get to this level of success, Singapore had to be run like a large business. After years of tinkering, the leadership of Prime Minister Kuan was able to create a transformation that has never been seen before. In the second half of the 20th century, Prime Minister Kuan took advantage of the country's strategic location. He saw early on that it could be an ideal hub for international commerce. Since he implemented certain reforms, the country has now witnessed significant growth in GDP. They only got their independence from Britain in 1965, but since then, they have grown to have a GDP per capita that is one of the highest in the world. Singapore's government and its people have seen remarkable growth in their wealth. But just how wealthy is the country and its citizens? And what's the astonishing story behind Singapore's path to prosperity? In the past, Singapore grappled with dire conditions, even earning the dubious honour of having one of the world's worst slums, as reported by a 1947 British colonial government housing committee. What was even more challenging was that Singapore lacked significant natural resources like oil, coal, or gas, which are often seen as key assets for a nation's wealth. Singapore is merely a small piece of land measuring just 50 kilometres east to west and 27 kilometres north to south, making its survival against the odds all the more mind-blowing. Singapore's journey has been quite the transformation. The place has gone from rags to riches, and today it's all spick and span with lush greenery all around. Talking numbers, Singapore's GDP, which is like a report card for how well they're doing economically, has shot up by a whopping 288.4% in the past 2 decades. And when we talk about cash, Singapore's got a nice stash. They're packing assets worth at least $709 billion, and the real number might even get higher. Now, here's a fun fact. GIC and Temasek, their two biggest money managers, rank 7th and 9th globally when it comes to their mountain of assets, according to the Sovereign Wealth Fund Institute. Singapore also has the prestigious AAA credit rating, which is basically a gold star for its solid financial reputation. Now, you might be asking, this country seems to be doing well, but are its citizens also this rich? You might be surprised to learn that Singapore has more millionaires per capita than anywhere else globally. Around 1 in 6 households here are part of the Millionaire Club, where people flock to the city-state by choice. The government offers low taxes and generates revenue from property taxes on multi-million-dollar homes of the super rich. In return, the wealthy folks spend generously, giving a boost to the local economy, from shops and eateries to even Universal Studios. One big draw for expats is the fantastic quality of life. Even middle-class workers like teachers enjoy a comfortable lifestyle. They can join sailing clubs and have the luxury of hiring a maid. Singapore's excellent living conditions and a world-class education system with foreign teachers make it a magnet for top talent worldwide. Singapore's population is around 5 million, so it's not comparable in scale to the challenges faced by larger countries. Yes, its ability to be a significant manufacturing hub is quite surprising. It's akin to having large factories coexisting with an international finance centre in a place like London or New York. Manufacturing makes up more than a fifth of the economy, which is a bigger chunk than in the UK and the US. But how does a wealthy country stay important in a globally competitive production chain? Well, it's about making high-quality stuff. About half of what they export is high-tech goods. Singapore started off in manufacturing's lower ranks but managed to boost its expertise, so it didn't lose its place in the regional production scene as incomes went up. To be part of the global trade game as a high-income nation, you need some serious skills. That's where the government comes in, investing in higher education and training. Singapore boasts some of the world's top secondary schools, and lately the government's been focusing on teaching design to inject creativity into various professions like engineering. This really ramps up the skill level of the general population. Additionally, skilled workers also come from all over the world. Surprisingly, 2 out of 5 people in Singapore are foreigners. Bankers and others in the financial industry have relocated to what's now known as the Switzerland of Asia. Singapore's transformation has been remarkable. A country where the official languages include English, Tamil, Malay, and Chinese is pretty handy for global business. It wasn't just by chance. Singapore positioned itself as an internationally oriented economy, and that's been quite rewarding for its people. While there might be a few cracks in the orderly facade for most people, their working lives have definitely seen some benefits. The success of Singapore is a result of countless small decisions. To make a company thrive and make money, good leadership is essential. In a similar vein, Singapore had some really capable folks leading the way. One standout was the late Kuan, often called the nation's founding father. He was Singapore's first ever Prime Minister, taking office on June 5, 1959, and holding the position for a whopping 31 years and 178 days. Lee's one and only mission was boosting the economy. While some might call Singapore's style of governance a bit strict, it did make things run smoother without too much pushback. Of course, this only works with skilled leaders and a government that's open and honest. So how did Lee make this happen? He put in laws to tackle corruption and tied government salaries to what the top performers in the private sector were earning. This made sure the government could attract and keep smart, capable people. As of today, the Prime Minister of Singapore is the highest paid politician in the world, earning approximately $1.4 million a year, including bonuses. Their ministers are compensated with salaries and bonuses that are linked to the socio-economic outcomes of Singaporeans. Because of this, the average minister can earn as much as $800,000 in a year. To show you just how amazing that is, the president of the most powerful nation in the world, the United States of America, earns only $400,000 a year. This system of theirs makes perfect sense when you look at it. When government leaders are paid well enough and their performance is linked to the welfare of their country, they become more motivated to build the country. This means that they have the ability to earn more money in a legitimate way. Singapore had to come up with these creative methods of managing the economy, given that it's still a country with few natural resources. It's constantly threatened by the movement of the global economy. One way the government tries to reduce the risks of total collapse is by investing heavily in its reserves. By putting the country's extra cash and resources like land to work, it manages to stash away quite a hefty sum. Now, there are 3 big shots which jointly hold a whopping $709 billion in assets. They are MAS, Temasek, and GIC. Their gig? Well, they've got 3 main goals, being the emergency backup, keeping the Singapore dollar in check, and making sure there's a steady cash flow. Thanks to the money they make from their investments, Singapore stays in the green and keeps on adding to its savings. That's a win-win for both the current and future generations. Singapore owes a lot of its success to Lee Kuan Yew. He played a big role in shaping the economy and making life better for people living there. Charlie Munger, who's a famous investor that's friends with Warren Buffett, once said his life motto was taken straight from Lee: find out what works and go for it. Now let's talk personal finance. It might seem tricky, but to get richer, focus on stuff you can control. First up, boost your income by excelling in your job and investing in your career. Your income pays the bills, so make sure you've got insurance to cover you. Be smart with your money, budget wisely, spend less and save more. And don't forget to build an emergency fund and invest in your extra cash to grow it and beat inflation. In no time at all, you'll become a success story big enough to rival that of Singapore. Did you know that Singapore's national anthem is hiding in tiny letters on the back of their $1,000 bill? And get this, Singapore isn't just any ordinary country, it's one of 3 city-states still kicking it. The other 2 are Monaco and the Vatican City. Talk about an exclusive club membership. Singapore isn't just one island, it's a whole archipelago. There are 63 more islands thrown into the mix, but most of them are uninhabited. Size-wise, Singapore is basically the tiniest player on the world stage. It's one of the 20 smallest countries out there, and its entire land area is only 682.7 square kilometers. To put things into perspective, the USA is basically a giant compared to Singapore, like 15,000 times bigger. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, let us know in the comments what you think of Singapore's success. See you next time.